It doesn't add further information to the debate. Question number 11, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Ron Mark.
I'm flattered, thank you. My question is to the Minister of Canterbury Earthquake Recovery and asks, does he stand by all his statements?
The Honourable
Mr.
Amy
Speaker,
Adams.
On behalf of the Minister, yes.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does he stand by his statement in 2012 when he said, as the Minister of Earthquake Recovery, quote, "We have to get the science and engineering right on how to progress," end of quote. If so, why did he not make that abundantly clear to Fletcher Construction, or did they simply not get the memo?
The Honourable Amy
Speaker,
Adams.
On behalf of the Minister, yes.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
To the Minister, does he also stand by his statement that by, quote, centralising management, unquote, and giving Fletcher's a $1 billion monopoly, it would help, quote, help reduce the risk of cowboy builders, end of quote? And how's that looking right now?
The Honourable Amy
Mr.
Adams.
Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, when the Minister made reference to cowboy builders, he was referring to builders who would choose to go bankrupt to avoid their obligations, and he certainly stands by his statement that we don't need those people in the industry if that is their approach.
Point of order, Ron Mark.
Mr. Speaker, and I raise this because I know the Minister is standing in for the real Minister, but the quote...
Order,
order.
I'm going to give the chance to the member to raise his point of order. He doesn't need to make any other interjection. Just refer to the standing order that's relevant, and I can make a ruling.
Yep.
Ron
Thank
Mark.
you. The quote I gave was 2010. He couldn't possibly have made that statement back in 2010.
Order. Now the member's simply disputing the answer. That's not a point of order. He carries on with his questions if he wants to. Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
To the Minister, does he agree with statements made by Alistair Miles, the Registered Master Builders Canterbury President, that, and I quote him, EQC and EQR were responsible for selecting builders, giving them a scope of work and checking the repairs, end of quote, and, quote, they opened the doors to anyone, including painters, acting like builders, end of quote.
The Honourable Amy Adams.
Mr. Speaker, while answering on behalf of the Minister, I can't speak as to whether he's aware of that statement, but I would certainly say on behalf of the Minister that EQC were in charge of running the home repair program. They worked with EQR. They had a significant program in place to ensure the quality of the works. All work is required to be carried out in accordance with the building code, and where a very small number of homes have been found not to have been done in that way, then they will be put right, and they'll be put right at no cost to the homeowner.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Mr. Speaker, to the Minister. So who is ultimately responsible for the fact that a massive 35% of the work inspected by MB, or Ministry of Business and Enterprise, has been found to be non-compliant? 35% is non-compliant. Is it the Irish immigrant workers who are being blamed now?
Order, just finish the question.
Is it Fletcher's Construction, or is it the Minister himself who was warned by international experts to watch out for fraud and failed to do so?
The question is quite long. The Minister can be answered.
Well, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, I can assure that member that the homeowner certainly will not have any responsibility for putting it right, and that EQC and EQR have an obligation to ensure that all work carried out under the Home Repairs Program is compliant with the building code, and it will be. And I can point out to that member in the House that we're talking about 1.7% of repairs of a very successful program in which 83% of homeowners have indicated that they're satisfied or very satisfied. Nonetheless, we want all repair work to be compliant. It will be made right, and the homeowner will bear no cost.
Question number 12, Dr. Shane Reti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister for Communication.